In this video, I'm going to show you one of the easiest pathways to move to Italy for work. This is a pathway that is actually not spoken about a lot. People do not actually consider it. But then I intend to speak to you guys about it. So in this video, I'm going to show you the visa requirements, what you need to be able to apply for this pathway, and how to be able to actually enter into the country through this pathway. It's actually fairly easy to get the visa and to get the job. Okay, so if this looks to be something you're interested in, please make sure you watch the video till the very end. Okay, so first of all, you come to Google and then you search for au pair jobs. Okay, so depending on whichever country you're interested in, you can search for au pair jobs in Germany, au pair jobs in Canada, au pair jobs in the USA, au pair jobs in Italy. But in this situation, I'm actually going to speak to you guys about au pair jobs in Italy. So like this is the site, the one for Italy. So let's look at what the meaning of au pair is. Okay, so an au pair is a boy or girl between 18 and 30 years old who lives abroad with a host family, taking care of their children in exchange for food, accommodation, and pocket money. So what is the au pair program? The au pair program is a cultural exchange program that gives young people the opportunity to spend a period of time abroad, get to know a new culture. I'm just going to tell you guys all that you actually need to know about this. The registration is actually like very free to register on the site as an au pair is actually very free. But then you need to know like the requirements for you to be able to become an au pair. So first of all, you can see like the platform offers babysitting online. It offers online tutor, nanny, assistant to elderly, au pair. This is what you've actually chosen to kind of like do. Live-in tutor, live-in help for the elderly, granny au pair, and a language exchange. So you can either choose the language exchange one or the au pair, the au pair is what I'm actually coming to speak to you guys about it, because this opportunity allows you to kind of like move. You offer your services like in exchange for they're going to give you a contract, so in exchange for they're going to pay you in exchange for an accommodation and then for feeding as well, which is actually good. Like they are almost everywhere in the world. So let us talk about the requirements to become an au pair. Not for the family, but in you, the individual, the requirements for you to become an au pair. So first of all, the requirement is you're supposed to be between 17 and 30 years old, and then you need to have a good knowledge of English or the language spoken in the host country, and then you like working with children. Then you're not married and have no children. You have at least a high school diploma. You are healthy and have no chronic diseases. You have a clean criminal record, and then you want to spend some time abroad. So like this is actually what you need to take note of. So you should be between 17 and 30 years of age. If you are above 30 years of age, you cannot become an au pair. And also you need to be able to take a language course to be able to understand the language of the host country where you are choosing to move to. So you can start like the training program in your home country. You can start taking the language course from your home country before kind of like moving into that country. Okay, even if you don't have complete confidence like in speaking that language, as long as you're taking the program, you're taking the course in your home country, you can still participate in the program. But then when you're requesting for the visa, you may need to provide a certificate to prove like your knowledge of the language, which in this case is that of the Italian language. So you're going to ask, it depends on where you're coming from, but if you're coming from anywhere outside the EU, if you're coming from Africa, obviously you're going to need like a visa. So what are the requirements for you to like get a visa? But then before that, there are other requirements that some of the the host families have stated that you need to take note of. Okay, so you need to be able to cover your own expenses to travel to your host country and return home, unless you have made different arrangements with your future host family. So it depends on the agreement that you have with the host family. Some families will tell you, when you come, we are going to foot your bills, you're going to pay you some of the money. It all depends on the connection that you have with the family, and then the agreement you kind of like come into. Okay, so yeah, that's one thing that you also need to know about. Then some other requirements is that of you need to be healthy and not smoke. Even if not smoking is not an official selection criteria, the chances of finding a host family as a non-smoker are much higher. Okay, so like that is one thing that you also need to take note of. And then you need to really love spending time with children. Like if you don't have that like passion to really be around children, then this is not the best opportunity for you. Okay, and then you need to be able to perform your duties and responsibilities as like an au pair. What are the requirements for you to get the visa? What you need is the letter of invitation from the host family, where like your host family here in Italy or wherever you're coming to, and then you also need the contract. So to become an au pair, you need the contract to state like how long you're actually coming to be an au pair in Italy. Some families do offer a year, other families do offer 6 months, other families also do offer 2 years. Okay, so it depends, and you actually need to take note of that, because that's what the embassy is going to look at, plus other things to kind of like give you the visa. So like particularly with the visa, you can see here you have to select like the country, your nationality. So I'm going to choose like Ghana. I'm going to do for Ghana, Nigeria, and I'll choose for India. I'll just choose like any age between, so I can choose like maybe 25 or something, 24. I'm just being I am married. No, I have children. You don't have to select that, because first of all, you have to remember that you don't have to be married, and then you don't need to have children. So this is just an example. Yeah, so let's go to Italy. It tells you the popular countries where Ghanaians have become like au pairs. Okay, so Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, China, Croatia. Like you can see, France, Germany, Finland, Iceland, Ireland, Italy. Okay, so let me talk to you guys like a bit about become an au pair here in Italy, just like I was telling you guys. So you can see like this how it is. If after you create your profile, the sites have everything you need to know to create a very good profile, and like a very good au pair profile, but then you basically don't need like so much, apart from the fact that you need to foot your bills in coming, you need to have a little bit of money, just like when you're traveling abroad. But then feeding, accommodation, which are some of the major things people struggle with when they come abroad, is going to be taken care of by these countries. This family need someone from May 2024 to September 2024. Okay, so they have 3 children. They're going to pay you 350 euros per month. So one disadvantage actually about this opportunity is for the fact that their salary is not really that good. Okay, it's not so much, but then for the fact that they're going to give you accommodation and then they're going to feed you, you can actually save this money. Okay, and then one other thing too is you have a period where you take leave to kind of like, yeah, just like any contract here in Italy, you get the opportunity to take leave, go visit other places and all of that. So if based on the profile of this family and you're really interested, then you're going to see their profile and then you're going to contact the family. So you can go through the profile of the people, find out the people, like the families that you really gel with. You can set up when you find a family you're interested in, you can kind of like set up a video call with them and then get to meet the kids and all of that. If you feel like you're really like okay with them, then you can kind of like choose that family. If you feel like that's not the thing for you, you can just keep scrolling until you find then the perfect family that you really gel with the kids. Yeah, so you can see like some do offer a month, 2 months, 3 months, like it just depends. And then they keep like renewing the contract as long as they really want. So when you click on the profile of the family, you can find out all the information that you actually need to know about that family. Yeah, so that's what you also need to take note of. Then, so here, for you to be able to work in Italy, you need like a visa plus a work permit. And the work permit, you're actually going to use their contract and then a letter of invitation from the family to be able to process the permesso di soggiorno in motivo di lavoro here in Italy. But then with the visa, obviously, with the visa, you're going to use the student route actually. With the visa, you're going to use the student route to apply for that visa. And then every other information that you actually need to know, they are going to tell you. So if there are other options that are available, you can also like they will tell you which one you can use. But first of all, you must get in contact with the family, and then you guys set the pace. They give you the contract and everything before you start processing at the Italian embassy. And then the family, and then the au pair sites, the family is going to assist you through the process, and because you're coming to them, and then all the information that you actually need to know from the au pair sites, they're also going to make it available like to you. So now let's come back and then talk about, so like, what do you need to obtain the visa? You need a valid passport, you need a signed au pair contract, then invitation letter from the family, and then you need like a criminal record certificate. And then like apart from that, also you also need the language certificate. And then like you also need to have like proof of funds to show that you can cater for your coming, unless you have had an agreement with the family and then they'll be sponsoring your coming into Italy. So yeah. And then you also need to, as the family will be hosting you, they'll need to give you the letter to prove that you'll be staying with them. So instead of you providing an accommodation, just like students do, like during requesting for visa, you will need to get the letter from the family showing that they are going to host you when you come to Italy. So like that is it. With this, the process is actually very easy. Sign up, like, if you don't have, you register for free. You register, you go through the process, you register, and then you put in your information, your contact information, and then you kind of like, let me change it. So when you come here during the registration, you choose what exactly you're looking for. So you want to become like an au pair, you want to become a tutor, whatever you're choosing to. But then au pair, you choose that, then you move next, and then you choose, you want to deal with newborns, 1 to 5 years, 6 to 10 years, you choose that. And then hours of experience with children in the last 24 months, then max number of children I will take care of. I'm willing to work for a single parent. Am I willing to take care of disabled children? Like countries I would like to work, you choose maximum 5. Then your favorite areas like metropolis, village, outskirts, countryside, city. I'm available as soon as possible. You state that. I'm available at the latest from. You choose that. The length of stay, you choose how long you actually want to stay so that they'll match you to the right like set of families. Would you live in a household with pets? You state that. Are you willing to take care of pets? Are you willing to work harder and then earn more? Yeah, so like it depends. After you're done filling this information, you're going to move on to next, and then in the next you're going to fill your personal data. Okay, here you've created your job profile. Now you're going to put your personal data, and then your contact information. Okay, and then the letter to the family. So you're going to is just like is it an application? Yeah. So the letter that you're going to send to the family, those that you'll be interested in, yeah, so your letter is going to be sent to them. When they're interested in your profile and what you've written to them, then they will get in contact with you. You guys will schedule a call, and then you kind of like speak to them. You see if that is the family you really want to be with, and then you kind of like you get to yeah, then you guys start the process. Then there's one thing I really want to talk about. What happens if you have agreed and everything with the family? You can contact a number of families, and then the particular one that you're interested in, you can end up just going with that family. What happens when you move here and then like you're being treated unfairly and all of that? So first of all, when it happens, you need to speak to the family about it. Okay, I don't want to be treated this way, and from there you're going to see whether things actually do change. If nothing changes, then you have to communicate to the au pair. You write to them and let them know the situation in that country, because obviously when that situation comes up, you can no longer be with that family. Okay, so you need to reach out to them, and then you also need to reach out to the authorities in that country to kind of like find a way to resolve that issue. And then you guys can decide if, based on like the extent of the situation, you no longer want to work for the family. So then that means you terminate that contract. So those are things that you also need to take note of. You need to speak to the au pair people, so that maybe they can kind of like they can take that family off the platform if they don't treat people well. You kind of like get it. So you need to be able to describe your complaints in detail to them, and then also alert the authorities in the whole country where you're coming to work, because there are so many situations that actually come up while working abroad, sexual harassment and like all of that. But then it's also very important for you to take note of the body language of their family while you're speaking to them. You should not be so desperate to kind of like move abroad, to the extent that if you feel like something is off, you do not think more into it, you do not pay more attention to, because sometimes yeah, sometimes not every time but then sometimes you can see the cues, you can see the signs, and then if you feel like, oh, you're not comfortable with that, you don't even have to take the opportunity at all, and then you just move on to another family and speak to them about it. Okay, now let us talk about the contract for the au pair. So the au pair contract is a legal document that explains all the main aspects of the au pair program. It's very, very necessary for you to always have a contract, so that you have like the stipulated terms of the working relationship. So the working hours of the au pair, the monthly allowance, the tax and responsibilities of the au pair, the tax and responsibilities of the host family. And then like after everything has been stated out, you also need to know how many like days of holidays you have during your stay. You clearly need to know that, because it's very important for you to have off days, and that is something you also have to look out for in your work contract. So after you've signed the the contract with your host, you sign it, and then they sign their part, and then you can download the contract from the site, and you're going to add it to like the other document that you're going to use to kind of like apply for the visa at the Italian embassy. So you might be asking, like, who is the host family? So like the family that you'll be moving in with, or you'll be staying with while you're here, that is the family that is referred to as the host family. Okay, so let's talk about the end of the au pair contract. So if problems, like serious problems arise, just like it do happen, or there's an emergency that requires one of the parties to suddenly leave, you need to consider the term of the contract. So if you decide to end the contract, you will still have to comply with the notice period, which is generally 2 weeks. So in situations where you have to go back home, like an emergency have happened back at home, you just give a general like 2 weeks notice to your employer and let them know ahead of time. When you miss this, there can be a whole lot of like issues with this kind of working relationship. So that is one thing that you also need to take note of. Yeah, so basically those are the bits and pieces I wanted to touch on. The last thing I want to touch on is that of the cost. Like how much does it cost you, like for you, the cost for you as an au pair. So your cost will basically differ depending on your host country, your nationality, and your agency cost. So for those going to America, like the United States of America, they need agencies, okay. But then for Italy, you can do it on your own, and basically based on your nationality and then your host the country. So your host country is Italy, and then your nationality, just like I checked, was that of Ghana. But then these are some of the basic costs that you need to know. So some of the costs that you need to know: the visa can cost like up to 0 to 180 euros. Your insurance can be around 0 to 400 euros. Then like you're coming, but then at the end of the day, it will all depend on like your country's specific costs, because in Ghana there are costs that you pay for the visa, and then obviously like the insurance. When you come, the family is going to process your insurance like for you to join the Italian health insurance. But then it will all depend on the agreement you had with your host country. So that is one thing that you also like need to take note of. So yeah, basically that is all that you need to know. If this looks to be an opportunity that you're really interested in, I highly encourage you to register onto their site and find out more information, like about it. And then whenever you need any assistance, you can always book a one-on-one session with me. The link to book the session is in my video description, and then also on my IG. It's also on my Instagram stories as well. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye.